What's going on, y'all? Chuck Nunface here, and today we are going to take a look at this guy, the Hogue EX-01 button lock folder. Pretty cool knife from a pretty cool knife company. Let's do some dimensions on it real quick. We are looking at a big folding knife. It has got a blade that measures 1, 2, 3, 4, just a sniff over 4 inches overall, close enough that we'll call it 4 inches, and a handle of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically it's 9 inches overall. So definitely not a small folder, and it saves a little weight. It's not lightweight, but it saves some weight with some aluminum scales. Okay, and it doesn't appear to have any sort of skeletonizing or anything like that, but nice flow through construction, just 2 slabs, no backspace or anything like that, and you've got your binders right there, your Torx keys. Yeah, so pretty cool knife. Hogue is a company that they're very famous for making gun grips and things like that for pistols, but they have a knife division as well. So Hogue knives, they're made in the USA and come in at a very reasonable price point. Most of their folders are under $200. Some go a little bit more than that, but they're about that. It's got a 154 cm blade steel, nothing wrong with that at all. And it's Alan Elishevit's design. So he is a custom knife maker that's been designing knives and making knives for quite some time, done a bunch of different designs. So doing some size comparisons here. Here it is up against the Spyderco PM2. So it is going to be bigger than the PM2. And again, for the Spyderco Native 5. So it's going to be bigger than those. As always, we will do the Chris Reeve Knives Large Sebenza 21. So it's going to be bigger than the 21 as well. And just for grins, so we might do a little compare and contrast. That is the Hogue EX-02, also designed by Alan Elishevitz. So yeah, very cool knife. Feels great in hand. It really does. The ergos on this knife are, frankly, for having, that finger weld right there, that groove, and the jimping right back here, it actually fits in the hand really well. Whether it's in a hammer grip or saver grip, you can do a pinch grip on it, I suppose, if you really wanted to. But yeah, it may not mold for your hands very well. I have fairly small hands. I don't find it to be an issue whatsoever. Maybe if you had really big fingers, that finger weld right there probably wouldn't, or it might not be the best for you. But generally, I find that your hand will kind of do what it needs to do around the knife. So, maybe neutral is best, but yeah, that works for me, no problem. The button lock works really good on this. There's no blade play. I don't have a ton of experience with button locks, but from what I hear, around the interwebs, is you can get a little blade play when it comes to button locks on sub models. This one has none. And as you see right there, I have activated the lock. That's something that Hogue likes to do on their knives. And once you open it and you activate the lock via that little switch right there, it is locked into place. Now, of course, I will get a little play when I do it that way because it's not fully locked into position. But other than that, it is good to go. And then just do that and it drops right down. Opening action is okay. It's not great. I wish it had a bit of a stiffer detent. Maybe that's something that's inherent with the button lock. Like I say, I don't have a lot of experience with them. And this knife isn't exactly a new model. So perhaps it's something that they have improved upon or they would improve upon on updates or future iterations rather, if they continue with this model. But it's really not super great. If you don't kind of hit it just right and maybe even give it a little roll or a little wrist or even just a little roll like that, you may not get it deployed. That's what I've found. Of course, I haven't spent a whole lot of time with this knife. It hasn't really found, it's on loan from a friend of mine to kind of check out. And so I wanted to do something at least a little bit on the channel for it. And also just kind of compare it to the EX-02. Now, this knife I've had for several years. I actually got it when I was in the fire service, so probably around 2011 or 12. I ended up picking this one up, and I carried it in my pocket. I had a different knife that I had in my bunker gear, which I no longer have. When I left the department, I left it on my bunker gear, and I I never ended up getting it back, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, this is also, you know, very cool knife from the same company. It's obviously a little bit different. This is a flipper. It's going to be shorter in dimensions. You know, this is a 3.5-inch blade as opposed to the 4-inch blade on the EX-01. It's going to have, I believe, stainless steel, but it could be Thai. I'm not sure. I've had this thing for a while, and I don't know where the box is anymore. But it's also 154 cm blade steel, as you can see right there, and it has that signature lock. I don't know if it's an Elishevitz or Elishewitz. I don't know. I think it's Elishevitz design, or if that's something that Hogue likes to just kind of do with their knives. But real nice snappy opening too. So I had used this knife quite a bit when I was in the fire service, and I had sharpened it, and I wasn't too proficient sharpening in it at the time, and so the edge was pretty ragged. It didn't look very good, and I actually ended up getting I contacted Hogue and, you know, just asked what it would take to do a reblade on it and everything else, and I think it was like $30, $35 or something like that. Send the knife in and just you know, send, I don't know, I think I had to PayPal or send him a check or whatever it was. It was a very reasonable price in order to get it rebladed. And so I went ahead and did that, and really great customer service from the folks over at Hogue Knives. They were very responsive in the emails. And this is an older model too. Like I say, I got it in like 11 or 12. And, you know, they had them on hand because they still sell these, you know, with the EX-02, they have the Tanto and the Spear Point. They have the G-Mascus and the plain black, I think, for the handle scales. And they're able to go ahead and accommodate me and get me a new blade. And great customer service along the way, so I want to give them a shout out for that. Other than that, I mean, pocket clip on this knife is good. It goes in and out of the pocket fairly easily, but it has good retention. It can be a bit of a hot spot. I mean, you notice that spoon right there. It'll kind of go right on your hand, your knuckle meat right there on the inside of your hand. And it could be noticeable, but this might also be a knife that is suitable for work and, you know, if you're wearing gloves. And so you definitely wouldn't notice it if you were wearing gloves. It wouldn't be a problem. Get a little lanyard hole right there too, very similar to that lanyard hole. But yeah, other than that, really not a whole lot I wanted to go over about this knife. You know, it's definitely pretty cool. USA made, very good price point, sub 200 bucks. Really nothing to complain about too much other than the fact that the action isn't all that great. You know, and if button locks aren't your thing, you're probably not gonna like it, but you know, can't really control that. So in any case, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and click that little subscribe button right there in the corner. I definitely appreciate that. It helps me out a lot. It helps out the channel, gets my videos in front of you and out to more people. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this knife or Hogue knives in general. If you've had any experience with them, you know, how's that experience been? Give me a follow on Instagram at Chuck_Nunface. And that is pretty much it. Thanks for checking it out.